Good morning. Welcome to Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. And, just about 30 minutes of business before we head back to the Sunrise Daily studio. Today, we're starting from the Naira because, of course, the oil and gas has been major conversations from yesterday, even up until what you just listened to on Sunrise Daily. So we start from the Naira today and see not very good news for the Naira. It weakened at the close of trade yesterday. So we see on NAFEM that it closed at 1,611 Naira 34 kobo. It went down more than 1%, 1.61%. So it opened at 1,585 Naira 77 kobo. Same picture we see for NAFEX. 0.21% down, opened at 1,597 Naira 61 kobo and closed at 1,600. Just a day of gains, and then now we see that it's back to the red zone there, and it's expected to continue at these levels at least for the coming days, barring any major driver into the market. Now, for oil prices, it fell on Wednesday, extending a plunge of more than 4% the previous day on expectations that a political dispute halting Libyan exports could be resolved and concerns over lower global demand growth. Taking a look at the number, we see about 37 cents. That's about 0.5% shaved off Brent this morning. We see Brent continually falling. Now it's at $73.38 for a barrel, down 0.5%, while WTI has also lost that $70 level. It's now at $69.93 a barrel after it dropped 0.6%. Both contracts fell to their lowest level since December on signs of a deal to resolve the political dispute between the rival factions in Libya that could cut output by about half of the curbed export. Libya's two legislative bodies agreed on Tuesday to jointly appoint a central bank governor. This has been the cause of the problem for a bit now. So they've agreed to choose one governor, and the battle for control of oil revenue that set off the dispute. Libyan oil exports at major ports were halted on Monday and production cut nationwide. The Libya's National Oil Corps declared force majeure on its oil field from September the 2nd. So I guess now that we have relative settlements for this issue of running off the central bank, perhaps we will see some kind of stability and production or supply from Libya, and we'll see a bit of settlement on the oil prices. But still on that space, yesterday, of course, we saw that Dangote refinery rolling out its first set of premium mottled spirit from that 650,000 barrels per day facility. And it's been the crux of conversation everywhere. I'm sure you've seen the reports a couple of times, and there's been reactions. One of them is from the governor of Ogun State. The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dakwa Abiodun, said the commencement of full production by the Dangote refinery will strengthen the nation's economy by eliminating constant shortages and conserve foreign exchange. Still another reaction also is from billionaire businessman Femi Otedola. He has praised Aliko Dangote for his significant contribution to the country's economic independence through the successful launch of the Dangote refinery. In a lengthy post shared on his X page, Mr. Otedola highlights Dangote's achievement and the impact on the country's energy sector. He believes that the refinery's success could diminish the relevance of local depots, which have long relied on fuel imports to meet domestic demands. And according to Mr. Otedola, Dangote refinery represents what can be achieved when one has the audacity to dream and the determination to make it a reality. Well, it was a mixed bag yesterday because we also saw adjustment on the pump price at NNPC filling stations. Now, the Nigeria Employers Consultative Association has criticized the recent hike in the petrol pump price by NNPC Limited, saying it unfairly burdens Nigerians with the company's inefficiency. NECA's Director General, Mr. Adewale Smarto Yerinde, voiced his concerns in a statement following NNPCL's announcement that the new pump price of PMS would be 897 naira for a litre effective September 3. Mr. Yerinde expresses disappointment that instead of reducing petrol prices after the completion of the Dangote refinery, the government is imposing more hardships on Nigerians, further increasing the costs of doing business. So I think they call it double whammy. On the one hand, Nigerians were supposed to be rejoicing for the commencement of PMS production by Dangote refinery. On the other hand, they have to face new prices, more than 50%, I believe, or almost 50% by NNPC petrol stations. So what that means, obviously, is the other filling station, the independent filling stations, would do even more than that. So that was the reality that started yesterday, September 3. And of course, is what we live for. We've seen the labor union leaders speak against this. They say, they cannot justify this and against the promise that they had when the new minimum wage was agreed on. So it's a whole lot for Nigerians to handle at the same time, but it's the reality for now. Let's discuss some of the expectations following this now with the Chief Executive Officer of FUPRI Energy Solutions Limited. FUPRI is Federal University of Petroleum Resources, IFRU in Delta State. Dr. Monigo Otanusha joins us virtually from IFRU. Dr. Otanusha, thank you so much for your time and good morning.
Thank you so much, Ini. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, so so yesterday, while we're celebrating Dangote Petrol, we also saw the change in pump price. And I wonder if this was planned, But at the end of the day, what does this say about the security of energy supply and even the purchasing power of Nigerians? Is this the way we ought to go from your perspective, especially in being in this industry?
Thank you so much, Ini and Nigerians. Yes, it's a good thing that Dangote has started the PMS production. It's good news. And I want to commend the previous comments from my big brother Otedola and the governor of Ogun State. Yes, this morning I bought PMS in the front here for 1,100 naira per liter while I was coming here for this interview. It's a lot of hardship on Nigerians, but it's a good thing that Dangote is there. But we need to be very clear. Dangote is a business, and petroleum is a global good. But if you come from the perspective of energy security, energy is a national security issue. So all efforts to support Dangote and the likes of Dangote to produce white goods in Nigeria for local consumption, especially in the transport sector, is a welcome development. We did publish an article in 2018, which is available on Google. If you just type Dangote and you type Omonigo or FUPRI, you will see it there. And we predicted what is happening now. But this is not the time to start laying blames. This is what do we need to do so that Nigerians can get more benefits from the goods which drives our economy, which is crude oil. It's also a good thing that the government also set up a ministerial committee at the level of Ministry of Petroleum Resources, which I was a member, and then PTI, Petroleum Training Institute, was there. FUPRI was sent a representative, which I was the rep, and then ABU Zaria and some other government agency involved in the petroleum sector. That report was, I think, was supposed to go through the...
Hello? Hello, Dr. Tanusha, can you hear me? Oh, he's frozen there. Well, it's good to know that Dr. Tanusha is also working in some of those committees that has to do with the government, because it would be important. it's I mean, going from about 568 naira for a liter of petrol to almost 900 naira, and that's, just being subtle, especially in a state like Lagos. Obviously there will be reactions to this, mostly eroding that new minimum wage, which workers hope that they could, have to increase their purchasing power. Obviously, this takes that away. But Dr. Tanisha, are you back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. Sorry.
Okay,
Yeah.
we lost you for a bit. So do you want to complete your thoughts? Or maybe I should just go ahead and ask you. You were talking about, what should be done, and you had a book and some articles on this. What should we do at this point in this country? Crude supply is still a challenge. So even for Dangote still has to be importing crude. Other refiners, modular refineries and all of that still need crude. But our crude is held up in the debt, which NNPC has told us they're owing suppliers. So it's just such a very thick web, of disturbing or challenging Nigeria's energy security. So what should we be doing now? What are the possible ways out?
Okay, thank you. There are many solutions that have been proposed by experts in the industry. I was on a panel 2 years ago with Dr. Umar Farouk on the Nigerian Global Roundtable. What we should be doing now is that there should be massive campaign for exploration and also to production. Again, if you do the arithmetics, how much is our OPEC quota? Okay, if you do that and then look at what's our daily production today or in the past, stable production. If you do the mathematics, you find out that we are not even able to satisfy the OPEC quota, and then we're talking about local. And again, for businesses, what will be most interesting for those in business is to produce and sell in dollars. Okay, they are in business. Now, we Nigerians are suffering. I am suffering too. We're all suffering. But the point is that Dangote is not a charity. It's in the business. So crude oil supply, for us to have, we need to ramp up production. We need to open up fields. We need to task research institutions to be involved, like FUPRI, PTI, ABU Zaria, University of Port Harcourt. They should be involved. The reason I'm saying this is that let's look at the best practices all over the world in terms of crude supply, crude security, energy security. Petrobras. In Petrobras, for you to be the head of the Petrobras, you must have gone through the R&D session, research and development session, meaning that we need to push our institutions to answer questions on national development, to be able to support national development question. Currently, NNPCL has come up to privatize or kind of look for O&M, operations and management of private sector involvement in the Warri and Kaduna refineries. I will strongly suggest, like I stated in our reports to the presidency through the chief of staff and through the Minister of Petroleum Resources, that Federal Investor Petroleum Resources, PTI, Petroleum Training Institute, ABU Zaria, University of Port Harcourt should be involved, and some other universities around those areas. Let there be more allocations for wells to be activated, and then production should take place. I heard Tedola say that the storage facilities should go and should be scrapped. They can be modified to take crude, okay, and then to support the local capacity build up in that area. So I strongly support the idea that there should be more campaigns, more production, so that we can up our production quota, so that after certifying OPEC and other the multinationals, we can have enough to take care of our local refineries.
Yeah, but I guess the challenge is, how do we even meet up with our OPEC quota, or even meet up with, our targets for the budget? Because oil theft is still a reality. So whatever plans we have, whatever production we hit, oil theft is still a major challenge.
Okay, while I want to stay away from the politics of oil theft, there are a lot of technologies to stop this. How come the oil theft is mainly Nigerian issue? In 2015, we had a conference in Manchester where I pitched a project. November 2nd, everything is online. The title of the project was Curbing Crude Oil Theft. That is buying with a conscience, curbing crude oil theft in Nigeria. in Manchester Policy Week while I was on studies at the University of Manchester. We were able to track what was stolen. About 70% of it goes out to refineries who don't ask questions in Europe, America, and Asia. Okay, so there are technologies to track these things and also to stop it. But I am of the strong opinion that if you do small scale mini refineries and make them community based with community participation, it will drastically reduce the issues of crude oil theft in communities. That means we can cluster them using light rail or using the inland waterways, and then crude can be made available. Like the government has changed the policy now to make crude available in Naira. Again, that will decouple the issues of crude oil theft, because those who do the illegal or the refinery processes, they buy from those who steal the crude. So there are many refineries which do not have appropriate technologies, and that's what you see everywhere. And then the government, the security agents go there and destroy them, and it will cause more problems to the environment when they blow up some of these facilities, or they burn the stolen crude or the white products that are out of that. Now, if they are encouraged to cluster in cooperatives, and they are properly registered and given appropriate technologies, I think this will gradually phase out. This will be like using a carrot and stick measure. So, and then integrate IPMAN, all the value chain within the downstream sector can be integrated. And then there can be proper tracking, and every drop of crude refined in this country.
Once again, that's the network KH right there with Dr. Otanisha. Dr. Omonigo Otanisha is the Chief Executive Officer of FUPRI. Dr. Well, maybe we'll just give you one more try. Dr. Otanisha, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you, sorry.
Okay, can you conclude your thoughts? Because we lost you again.
Okay. I am of the strong opinion that mini refineries should be proliferated all over.
That would be modular refineries, yes? Because we already have modular refineries.
I call them, I want to say mini, I'm talking about 1,000 barrels. And then when you cluster them, what they cannot refine, which is the dredge, which they throw off, especially those you call pool fire. In the local parlance, they call them pool fire. Well, they call them pool fire. These ones can be ramped up, and they can be supported so that whatever they cannot refine can now be taken to the bigger refineries like Warri Refinery, which has a fluid catalytic cracking unit. So they can now produce more white products, especially PMS and the kerosene and possibly jet fuel. So these are, and then we should also look at supporting alternative energies, biofuels, okay, from biofuels, synthetic fuels. This can be done to ramp up our, and then also look at engaging in our energy mix. Okay, going away more from petroleum products and making sure that it's available for industrial production. The other greater threat is that, like I mentioned earlier, the issue of energy security and energy being a security issue. Government has to make strong efforts to subsidize production in terms of using what they call industrial parks for some of these activities, where mass transit, like what they are doing now, what the government is currently doing, which is a good thing in the right direction. CNG is being rolled out, but again, the infrastructure has to be stabilized, and then have more of local capacity participation for these purposes. So have more refineries, go into alternative energies like CNG, methanol is also there too, and then push research institutions and universities to be involved with good incentives. They can be involved in the operations and the businesses of oil and gas in Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Omonigo Otanisha, Chief Executive Officer of FUPRI Energy Solutions Limited, and also there at Federal University of Petroleum Resources in Efurun Delta State. Thank you for your thoughts this morning.
Thank you so much, Ini. Thank you, Nigerians.
Let's take a break now. When we come back, our president is still in China. We have a comprehensive report of the happenings yesterday right there, but that'll be after this report, this break. Do stay with us. Sunrise Daily. Now, President Bola Tinubu and his Chinese counterpart, President Xi Jinping, have announced the elevation of Nigeria-China ties to that of a comprehensive strategic partnership. And this was the outcome of talks between the two leaders during President Tinubu's official visit to China. The leaders also agreed to build a high-level Nigeria-China community with shared future. Our State House correspondent, Lanre Lasisi, reports.
Arriving for his official state visit at the Northern Hall of the Great Hall of the People, President Bola Tinubu is welcomed by his counterpart, President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China. He's accompanied by some ministers and state governors. President Tinubu inspects a guard of honor. Following the ceremony, the two presidents sit down with their delegations for bilateral discussions. President Jinping said China and Nigeria, as major developing countries, strengthening strategic coordination will inject fresh impetus to the China-Africa relations.
I thank you for the...
In his contribution, President Tinubu outlined Nigeria's readiness and commitment to economic development.
And I agree with you that China-Nigeria relations that is over half a century should further strengthen our trade and economic development program. Nigeria has a very great potential as largest population in Africa.
It is then time for the signing of 5 memoranda of understanding by officials of both countries as the two presidents observe the proceeding. For the Nigerian delegation, this event is highly beneficial.
Specific agreements were signed, memorandum of understanding. 5 are all development related. 4 of them were were signed on behalf of the Chinese government by the National Reform and Development, the National Development and Reform Commission of China, and I also signed on behalf of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We expect more to be signed, albeit not in front of the two leaders. There are agreements on shelled peanuts, so groundnut that is still in the shell for export. Phytosanitary is supposed to be signing that. Already 2 state governors, Lagos and Kaduna, have signed agreements.
President Tinubu is billed to participate in the 2024 summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, commencing from Wednesday, September the 4th, 2024 in Beijing. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
Well, additional information on that is that the two sides encourage flexible and diverse regional and monetary as well as financial cooperation, such as local currency swaps. You know, Nigeria did have that relationship and agreement with China, currency swap. So that's going to also be captured in that MOU, and then facilitation of trade between both countries to make contributions to global financial stability. Also agree on international cooperation on financial intelligence, dealing with anti-monetary laundering and counterfeiting the financing of terrorism. So these are some of the areas that the MOU signed there, 5 of them right there. But as the minister said, we expect more to be signed, behind the cameras and all of that. But these are some of the areas that will be captured. And I'm sure business men and women in Nigeria who do a lot of transactions in China would be happy about the currency swap, because it kind of reduces the stress of having to search for FX before you can now look for a yuan and all that. So let's see how the market closed yesterday. It was obviously positive 0.08% up 96,873.74. That's the all share, and the equities cap is still around 55 trillion naira, 55.646 trillion naira. Activity was all in the red yesterday. Sectors mostly in the red except for oil and gas. But at 1 p.m., I'll be back with Anita Edet. We'll give you intraday numbers as well as other conversations in the world of business. That's Business Incorporated. For now, let's head back to the Sunrise Daily Studio.